Hey everyone, this is Coach Dave March here, and you're here for another episode of the Growth Mindset Podcast. If you're new to the podcast, I am your host, David March, also the author of the book Vision in Action. And I like to bring on different visionary leaders, innovative people, and all kinds of interesting individuals that are really doing something different, that are really growing people's minds in the process. And so today we have a special guest, Pedro. Pedro is the visionary CEO of his company. And, Pedro, why don't you introduce us to the company and, everything like that?
Yeah, thanks for having us, Dave, and thanks for including us in this presentation, giving us a chance to share what we're about and exploring some of the opportunities that are around growth mindset, leadership, and implications for making teams better, making the world, and making a positive impact. My name is Pedro Romo, founder and CEO of PGR Inc. It's a Mount Pleasant, South Carolina headquartered company with operations in Tokyo, Japan, and Ljubljana, Slovenia. And so we're a global company from the get-go. Our company is designed to help manufacturing companies unlock additional efficiencies. And so we're taking different input from sensors, cameras, factory schedules, production systems, analyzing all that information in one place. And the cool algorithms that we've developed allow us to make sense of the information in real time, come up with better ways and more efficient ways of doing it, giving the recommendations to the employees, giving those recommendations to management, C-suite. And if you want to, our technology stack can also send the signals to the fleet managers, the robots, the ground vehicles, the cranes to automagically run the thing itself and make it more efficient. This is a huge opportunity for the world because a roughly $4.6 trillion is wasted in inefficient movement. And so for factories, manufacturing, this translates to billions of dollars a year wasted in energy from these inefficiencies. And we want to tackle a little bit of that every year by allowing more and more manufacturing companies to unlock these efficiencies using technology, cyber physical systems to improve physical processes. We have a great team. I have the privilege of having worked with some of our leaders for over 15 years in our company. And as we dig into this a little bit deeper, of how to foster that innovation, how to foster that drive within the team, motivating the team, happy to share more about that. And our
Yeah.
goal is to unlock that efficiency in manufacturing, aerospace manufacturing, automotive manufacturing, allowing for higher reliability of autonomous vehicles and then eventually smart cities, smart infrastructure.
Wow. You got quite a big vision there, Pedro.
we want we want to make the world more efficient by making it
Yeah.
move more efficiently, but at
Yeah.
massive scales. Yeah, we think big. My career
Yeah.
has been around solving very large problems at Boeing, at Google, and other companies.
Yeah. And that's exciting, and that's like, you know, you got to do something that is gonna kind of get you up in the morning and like, yeah, I'm excited to solve this complex problem, or get into this.
Mm.
Yeah, that's a lot of people don't have that, and they feel about the day.
Go big or
So
go home.
yeah, we go maybe go home.
Like, if it was easy, it would have already been fixed. Somebody's got to
Yeah,
fix it, right? Yeah.
totally, yeah. Yeah, I could definitely sense there's a high amount of technical expertise you have to do these type of things. Is there some kind of like certifications or education that you've gone through, or experience that you've gone through, that kind of allows you to really dive deep into these really highly technical kind of pieces?
Yeah. And I would champion the idea that experience has tremendous value.
Mhm.
Formal education and education is great. We need frameworks, we need common language to be able to articulate and build on something. Experience is key as well. And as far as training, education, yeah, I love learning, and I have spent 25 years in school, so quite a bit. My background is in computer and electrical engineering. I attended Gonzaga University. I also hold a master's degree in organizational leadership and strategy and an MBA from UNC Kenan-Flagler with an emphasis on data analytics. And so it kind of brings it together with a framework that I wanted to build to understand systems, understand the technical side, understand how to build organizations and how people tick, how to build and motivate teams, and also run a profitable business. And so it was a deliberate approach to getting these frameworks and getting this education to pursue an engineering degree, a leadership degree, and a business degree. Technology and education and frameworks are always evolving, but it does give you a solid foundation to build on, right? You can't build on something unless you know what it is, and it helps to put a name on it. And that's where I think this education, credential, certificate programs, things that others pursue help with. As far as this technology with artificial intelligence, quantum computing, graph analysis, bringing it all together is new. It's not something that's been done before, right? Like we don't have massive, large scale quantum computers with reliable qubits to the scale that we need to run this commercially available and make it ubiquitous. And so we are looking at how do we make a hybrid model, which is what our platform does to do that. Where do you go learn that? You just have to try it and build these innovation clusters. We have commercial partnerships with very large global companies, as well as some of the leading deep research universities around the world, not just the US. And so this brings the latest in academic research, the latest problems from industry, and sort of the 20, 40-year industry know-how of how to bring this all together. That's sort of the secret
Part
blob.
of the secret sauce. Part of the secret sauce
Secret
there, huh?
sauce.
Yeah, yeah,
A little
and
more solid than sauce, but I was gonna say blob.
a little more, a little more solid than sauce. Yeah,
Yeah, more sauce.
uh,
Very thick
yeah,
sauce. I like thick pasta sauce,
yeah,
not the runny
like
stuff. I like
it's
thick chili. This is
you
like thick
know, like
chili.
some you got a bowl of spaghetti and you got like a big the good sauce, the thick sauce.
That's
You
right. You
know,
gotta do that. Thick sauce.
gotta get
Yeah,
a
you
good,
wanna
you gotta
chew
get
on
a
the
sauce.
sauce. Yeah, you're not slurping on the sauce, you're chewing on the sauce. That's right.
Yeah,
So that's
yeah,
where the education framework comes into place. You
yeah.
have something to build on it. I like to say that understanding rocket science doesn't get you to the moon, right? You can read about it, but it takes a lot of work, physical effort,
Mhm.
physical delivery, and many trials and tribulations and failures to get to the moon. So just by reading a book on how to ride a bike isn't going to get you there. You have to do
Oh
it.
yeah, yeah, 100%. Actually, that's the one thing I constantly, tell everyone I speak to, especially in regards to AI and especially in regards to GPT and everything that's going on right now,
Mm,
is that there's so much knowledge at your fingertips at any moment of time. You can go on YouTube, you can go to GPT, you have all these different places where you can get a lot of knowledge. But really, the biggest piece is the person that can implement that knowledge and internalize that knowledge and use it. And that's really where I think the leadership kind of comes into it, right? Because you can have all this knowledge and have all these things, but who is the person that's facilitating all of that knowledge? And who is the person that's leading this entire, you know, project to its fruition, and it's the internalization of that, or the embodiment, you might say, of
mm,
that information really makes the difference, right? I mean,
yeah.
anyone could just, I can go on YouTube right now and say, teach me rocket science, and it could show you about rocket science, but there's a completely different experience to someone that actually, has worked with it practically hands-on, has internalized what type of problems might come up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. 100%. I
Mm.
spent a lot of years in aerospace, so I've worked with rocket scientists.
Yeah.
I'm not one, by the way.
Okay.
That's not my thing. No.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
no, no.
yeah.
I'm a
I
little
mean,
green.
but yeah, yeah, that's such a big piece I like to talk about. But as we look into kind of the future, because I think you are a futurist, you know around aerospace industry and what's going on right now. Where do you see the future trends happening, in terms of the aerospace industry? Where do you see the future trends going?
Yeah, you know, everything has gotten more efficient over the years, and being an efficiency focused, efficiency driven, and technology company, I think the future is of efficiency. How do you scale down the movement of people, and how do you coordinate at scale? Meaning, right now there's thousands of airplanes up in the air at any given point. I forget the statistic, but it's something like every 1 point something or 2 seconds, there's a Boeing 737 that takes off somewhere in the world, right? And so being able to scale that 10x or 100x for smaller aerospace vehicles that take you from point to point, think helicopter size, but for you and for me, well, how do you manage all of that? And how do you make it move efficiently, safely? How do you make the next generation of commercial airplanes, commercial vehicles that take you from point A to point B, ideally anywhere in the world, and as efficiently as possible? And you got to be able to think as a system, looking holistically at the entire world, what's happening, weather patterns, traffic patterns, infrastructure, regulatory, no fly zones, tons of information. And as I think of aerospace, commercial aviation, commercial vehicles, the future is to go more automated, more efficient, a little bit smaller, and at scale. And so that's been the trend too. Airplanes back in the day started small, then they got huge, and you had more people in the flight deck managing the airplane and checking different circuits, etc. And the transition went from like 4 to 3 to now you have 2. And we have been accustomed to flying with 2 people. What would it take to go from 2 people in the flight deck to 1, to just having the pilot, not the pilot and the first officer? And then what would it take for the commercial public to be comfortable enough to fly in an airplane without those controls? Think about how much efficient that airplane's going to be if it doesn't have to require all the additional manual inputs from a human. Remove those from the equation, make it an amazing experience to go from point A to B. We're not there. We're not going to get there in the next few years. But in the long run, that is a certain possibility to be able to more efficiently coordinate where people want to go, where they're going to take off from, where they're going to arrive at, and be able to manage that entire system more efficiently. When you're managing it at that scale, it's when you can get those savings, more environmental positive impact, and
Wow.
being able to safely move billions of humans a year.
I mean, yeah. You know,
And how do you build these things, right?
there's
There's
there yeah, there's a lot to that. There's a lot to that. I think that the idea of autonomous vehicles, and then also autonomous airplanes, um, just I don't know if it scares me or if it just irks me or what it is, but I mean, yeah. I mean, there's something about I think there's something about safety, safety there. I mean,
uh,
you feel like, at least if you're in a plane and you can speak to the pilot, you feel a sense of safety. And you hear him talk to you, and you feel a sense of safety. Uh, but if it's just like all autonomous and all efficient and like everything, you might be like, so, I don't know how to fly this plane. I don't know what I'm doing. If it's like it's all. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
yeah, I think we should always have a human. Um,
Okay.
and the analogy there too is AI is not going to replace leadership. AI is not going to replace our desire to belong as part of a tribe, part of a group, and be able to say, "Hey, I'm following this person. This person is leading the way. This person is driving the car. This person is flying the airplane." I think eventually that might we'll find a hybrid solution in there somehow. And the analogy there to organizational leadership is exactly that. You need a person that has that vision, has that mission, and isn't afraid to say, we're not putting this on autopilot. I want to take us on this journey. I want to make sure we have high expectations. We want to drive for excellence in technical delivery, solve very difficult problems that businesses care about. And at the same time, you're not going so fast on that airplane or that car that other cars behind you can't keep up, right? We all got to get there together. And as a team within our company and our leadership, that's one of the values that we really speak to and really walk the talk. We say that we want to be leading in this space, and we truly mean that. We want to make sure our partners, our suppliers, our clients, and everybody in our company and our team goes together. Nobody left behind, but we do have that vision and that human interaction that says we do have somebody driving this, and
Yeah.
it's a collective effort to get there.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's in terms of leadership, I think that's the thing that people don't like the most when I don't know, there's a particular way of saying it, but essentially you have a business where the owner is never there. There's one where there's a lot of like different ways or ways to say it, but at the end of the day, it's like if you're at a company where the owner is absent, it's absent leader, you
Hmm.
know, that's not one where you know people really want to work at, because at the end of the day, I think that where we're going is more along the lines of um, you know having a mission, having a vision, and everybody kind of feeling like they're part of that mission and wanting to grow that mission. Um, a lot of companies, they don't instill that, and you know for me, I always go back to like military, because I mean, we're both in Charleston, kind of South Carolina area here, and there's a lot of military people here, and um, you know, the sense of camaraderie that one feels in the military, because there's a shared mission, there's a shared struggle together. Um, there's a lot more productivity, and in the business itself, because of that shared mission. Um, so yeah, what are your thoughts on building an organization where everybody really is united under the same kind of mission?
Yeah, that's a great one, and I'll start by giving a big shout out to anybody in the armed services and armed forces listening to this. Thank you for everything you do. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Um, it is not such structure in our company to say here's the level of hierarchies between the generals, captains, and everything in between, right? We do have a very flat organization because we're a small company. At its peak, depending on the project and such, less than 30, but roughly the more core senior leaders is 10. And what we try to do to get everybody aligned is really spend the time in understanding that strategic clarity. Here's where we're going. Here are the priorities. Here's the goals. And making sure that it's not just something on the board, it's something we talk to currently, recurringly, review again and again. And it's worth the time and effort to answer all the questions around it of who needs to do what are our top priorities, in what order. I've been in organizations where they list 40, 50 priorities. That's not that useful. If everything is a priority, what really is a priority? And we have to be more deliberate of picking the 3 or 4 things max that are the key priorities and business drivers for our clients, for us, for the communities that we live in, for our families, and spending the time so that our organization and our team knows that. And if you ask them, anybody in our team, hey, what are the top priorities for this year, for this short-term quarter? They'll tell you X, Y, Z. Here's other things that are secondary to that, important if we get to it, but not so much. The other piece of making an efficient organization is getting rid of all the distractions. Because we have focused on what is important and making sure that strategy is well understood, not just shared. Putting a bunch of things in an email or bullets or a Google Doc and sending it isn't communication, right? It has to be received and has to be understood. Then it's looking at who's doing what as part of that. And that organizational clarity is something that we also focus on. Here's what I own, here's the decisions that I own, and here's what the rest of the team has as far as responsibilities, accountability, decisions that they make. That has allowed us to deliver products and projects to some of the largest companies around the world and only have a few hours a week of internal meetings. Non-value add is just not in our blood. It's not in our nature. A meeting for a meeting for a meeting for a meeting and a review for this is something that we don't do. And it starts at the top. You really have to model that behavior to say, here's the entire team. Let's make sure everybody's taken care of. Here's what our clients expect of us. Here's what we committed to. And that's what we're going to focus on delivering. Very deliberate, not following everything that's worked maybe in other companies. We like to try, experiment. I've made a ton of mistakes in my career, many, 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 many failures, because I like trying new approaches and seeing what happens. Like, if I try this for this team or this project or this company, what's going to happen? I have a rough idea and I'd like it to go well, but it does not go well. Many times it goes very bad, but you have to learn from that. And I am a methodical human being that has notes galore at taking sort of the scientific approach to things. And here's what I'm going to try. Here's what I expect to happen. But also allowing myself the time every week to reflect on it and seeing how did it go? And for the next time, taking the lesson learned and applying it. That's something that I would encourage any business leader to do. You have an idea of what you want to get done this week, this month, this year. Make sure you look back and say, this is what I thought was going to happen. Did it happen? What would I have done differently? And put something in place so that you truly do it differently and better next time. That's true continuous improvement for
Yeah,
organizations.
totally agree. And I feel like you would resonate, or you probably have read the Lean Startup by Eric Ries. He's got a lot of great things to say about this, and
Sure.
you know, there he goes through that learn, measure, grow feedback loop. And yeah, I mean, that's really that's the key there. If you want to be in business, you have to realize there's going to be tons of challenges. You're going to fail more times than not, and if you're not failing, you're not doing it right.
My favorite question, Dave, is why not? Like, why not try this? What's the worst thing that's going to happen? All right. Um, I get a point 0.7 or a point something on performance review versus a point 0.8, but I learn a ton. And so I put more value on the lessons learned with that longer picture in mind of I want to build companies. I want to build and deliver something. I want to help build others. So they run companies and build this business efficiencies, business entrepreneurial spirit, and be able to spend more time with their families. And so that's the other piece of this. If you're able to run a more efficient company, you're allowing your team to spend more time doing what they love. You're not requesting them to work. I've read articles recently of CEOs and leaders expecting their employees to be in the office 12, 15 hours a day. Come on. Yes, that's really important for the corporation. Sure, 100%. Um, if you really say my family comes first, then I would suggest that that priority should be on us being able to spend time with our kids. And one takeaway to all the dads out there is spend one-on-one time with your kids. They need you. And that's more valuable to saying, oh, if I get this project done and then I'll go spend the quality time with
Not
my
enough
kids.
fathers, not enough good fathers, man. I mean, this is definitely something a point I really, I'm interested in talking about, and it's interesting you brought it up. I think that is kind of such a key piece. There's so many, well, and it kind of goes back to what I was saying before. Like there's like absent leaders in an organization, absent fathers in a family, it's not gonna bode well. It's not gonna bode well. for
Yeah.
anyone.
No. Yeah, don't come to me and say I'm busy. Like, dude, come on. I'm running multiple companies around the world with 4 boys, happily married. Like, if I can do it, you can do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And
I
I'm
mean,
happy to share, like, how I'm making it work so that it's like, okay, well, nobody perhaps it's not their fault, right? I think somebody could have spent the time to help them be better fathers and show them how to do it. But it's, I think, upon you and I and others to be like, hey, here's some examples or some things that have worked or things that have not worked. So learn from that and allow yourself to have a little more flexibility in your schedule to be more present, as you mentioned.
perfect. Well, wow. Pedro, we've really put a lot of great ideas into the universe here. Uh,
Oh,
sh-
yeah.
sharing with everyone. I think that there's a lot of things people could take away from this. Um, and at least for me, from a personality point of view, I could definitely hear the the word efficiency coming up over and over and over again, and that to me comes to the comes to mind a particular temperament called I don't know if you follow David Kiersey at all. David Kiersey, he has temperament studies,
Mm,
um, and yeah, definitely something I can sense from you, and someone that is more the rational in their temperament studies, which he also, if you bring it back historically to temperament studies, it goes into the phlegmatic, sanguine, those type of people. But I could definitely sense that that is kind of your personality's type or style, and really have that kind of strategic intellect. Uh, so yeah, I know you're going to do great things, big things with the company. Um,
that's the plan. That's the goal. Yeah.
For sure, for sure. And look, as we kind of get to the end of this episode of the Growth Mindset podcast, um, where can people find you? Where can people kind of connect with you? And then also, what is the website and the company?
Yeah. The best way to reach me for that is go to our website, www.pgr.one. PGR.one. And we're on LinkedIn. That's another way to reach me. And then through LinkedIn, I'll say, hey, cool, shoot me a quick email. We'll find a time that's convenient for both of us to connect and go from there. But I would say if you go to the website, you can get a hold of me there or through LinkedIn, looking at both of those for sure.
Awesome, awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so
And they
website
can
and
learn.
LinkedIn.
Yeah, that's the website also does a decent job. We're constantly evolving it. Our first version was built by the intern. And so it's improved much since the early days of the company. But it does a good job of explaining what the technology for cyber physical system optimization is for aerospace, manufacturing, autonomous vehicles, smart cities, etc. So learn a little bit more. It's kind of fun.
Awesome,
We
awesome.
have
Well,
videos and cool pictures.
well, and anyone in the aerospace industry is going to be, I think, impressed with all that you're doing, and the innovative stuff you got going on. So, with that, we will end this episode. Thank you, everyone, for your long attention, and thank you, Pedro, for being our guest.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Dave. It's been a pleasure. It's been fun.
Yeah. All right. Talk to you later, everyone. Bye bye.